How are entrenched provisions dealt with? Let's move on. Okay. So entrenched provisions includes a presidential term, human rights, chapter 5 for all human rights provisions are entrenched. Article 11 is entrenched, which is the laws of Ghana. Article 1, 2, 3 is entrenched. Sovereignty lies in the people of Ghana. All of those things in Article 1, 2, 3. A Supreme Court has the original jurisdiction, interpretation of the Constitution, Article 2. All of those provisions are entrenched, including the presidential one. So for all of those provisions entrenched, Article 290 has provided ways in which you can change them. Let's look at it to see the role that the 2/3 majority in Parliament could have. Let's start. 290. A bill for the amendment of an entrenched provision shall, before Parliament proceeds to consider it, be referred by the Speaker to the Council of State for its advice, and the Council of State shall render advice on the bill within 30 days after it has received it. So a bill for the amendment of the presidential term limits in Article 66. So a bill will be formulated, most likely by the Attorney General. Or in these circumstances, because Michael Quay has passed a private member's bill, you can have a private member's bill do that. Now, that bill will be given to the Speaker. The Speaker will send it to the Council of State. The Council of State will have within 30 days of receiving it to respond to the bill. Assuming that the Council of State sees the bill and comes back to the Speaker, that is okay, let it go. This is the next stage. 3. The bill shall be published in the Gazette, but shall not be introduced into Parliament until the expiry of 6 months after publication in the Gazette under this clause. So a lot of time lines are in there. So after the Council of State have seen it and they are happy with it, from the Speaker, it goes to the Gazette for 6 months. A bill to change the presidential term limit. That's what we are looking at. Okay. What happens thereafter? Thereafter is 2922(4). Article 2924. It says, after the bill has been read the first time in Parliament, now that's important. So how do bills go through Parliament? They are read 3 times. The first reading is merely an announcement of the bill. The first reading is just an announcement of the bill. The second reading is where the work begins. So the second reading is so the bill is read for the first time in Parliament. So if I take this book here and I'm reading the bill. So first reading of the bill by Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the bill stands in the name of the Attorney General. A bill seeking to amend Article 66 of the 1992 Constitution to allow a president who has serving a second term, non-consecutive second term, to be able to serve another straight second term and be eligible for the next election. Mr. Speaker, the bill. Put it down. Bill read for the first time in Parliament. Okay, that bill is read. It's an announcement to Parliament. Thereafter, in the second reading, Parliament, the bill will be referred to the committee. So the second reading now comes in. They take it. Mr. Speaker, the bill for the amendment of Article 66 is now in the second reading. And with your permission, I refer it to the Committee of Constitutional and Legal Affairs. The bill is referred to the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. That's the second reading. The Constitutional and Legal Affairs will look at it. They will make changes. They will add something. That's what you saw with the LGBT bill when they were fighting. That's the committee. So they look at it, they change it, they do that. It comes back to the House, it's read again. Now, when it's read to the House that time, there may be changes from the first one that was read. And then the third reading is that the House now make the decision. So when it's read a third time, the Speaker will now put the question. So after the third reading is done, after the debates, after the second reading, the third reading is done, and then Mr. Speaker now takes the chair. Now, it's not somebody reading it for Speaker. Speaker takes the chair and says, Honorable members, with the discussions after the second reading concluded and the reports of the committee so well debated, I now put the question. As many as are in favor of the bill say aye. As many as are against say no. Speaker will decide and say, I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it, the bill goes to the president and is passed. That's first reading, second reading, third reading. That's not what is said here. Not at all. Very different. Let's look at it. After the bill has been read the first time in Parliament, it shall not proceed with further, it shall not be proceeded with further unless it has been submitted to a referendum held throughout Ghana and at least 40% of the persons entitled to vote voted at the referendum, and at least 75% of the persons who voted cast their votes in favor of passing the bill. Let's get it again. After it has been read first Nothing else shall be done about the bill unless it has been submitted to a referendum by the people of Ghana. That referendum should be held throughout Ghana. And at least 40% of the 18 million people on the registered voter must vote. And the number of people who vote out of the 40% minimum from the 18 million, 75% of those who vote must vote for the change. Now, when that happens, Clause 5 says, where the bill is approved at the referendum, Parliament shall pass it. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, there's no role for a two-thirds majority in Parliament in the amendment of the presidential term limits. That's what we are all learning now. So whether you have two-thirds, or you have five-thirds, or you have one-third, or you don't have a majority, once a bill to amend an entrenched provision has returned positively from the Council of State, it is read in Parliament only once, and then it's submitted to the people. So the two-thirds majority of NDC is inconsequential to the NDC's decision to amend Article 66 of the Constitution to allow President Mahama to be able to run for the next election. It's completely inconsequential to it. I'm not sure why all the media have bought into the idea two-thirds majority can amend. It's so false. It's untrue. This is the provision of the law. It is the people of Ghana that can make the determination. Parliament has no role at all. Parliament has actually even no votes. They cannot vote on it. The only votes that an MP can participate in the entrenched provisions being changed in the Constitution is that vote which he carries as an ordinary voter who votes as part of the 40% or as part of the 70%. That's all. No parliamentarian has a vote in this matter inside the Chamber of Parliament. The provision of the law does not allow the Chamber of Parliament, does not give the Chamber of Parliament any role in the decision making. Absolutely no role. That's what we are learning. There's no role for two-thirds majority in amending entrenched clauses of the 1992 Constitution. Zero role. Why have we all sat down and been railroaded into this? Two-thirds are going to change something. Yes, there are things that there are non-entrenched provisions that can be changed by Parliament. But I think we've changed all those that need to be changed. All the major ones are now entrenched. So the president's term limit is entrenched. And this is what Article 290 says. When we found out this, when we were looking at it when was it, on Saturday or so, we were all confused that, so Parliament has no role, and we had to convince ourselves that have we read the thing well? And we went back and read it again. And truly, Parliament has no role.